I'm Spencer Bailey. This is Time Sensitive. Hey everyone, on this week's episode, I'm joined in the studio by the French-Moroccan creative director, artist, and entrepreneur, Ramdan Touhami. As you'll hear on the episode, Ramdan, who's also an occasional DJ, has his hands in many different places. From the Dreiberger Hotel he opened last year in the Swiss Alps, to the cult grooming brand Booli, which he and his wife co-founded in 2014 and sold to LVMH in 2021. His creative agency, Art Recherche Industrie, whose headquarters is inside a former 19th century ballroom in Paris, has worked with companies including the silverware brand Christophe, the leather goods house Moynat, and the tableware label Gohar World. What particularly excites me about Ramdan's work, beyond its playfulness and artistry, is how dedicated he is to shepherding centuries-old printing techniques and machinery forward, and rescuing various pre-industrial craft skills. He does this not necessarily out of altruism, although perhaps that's part of it, but more so by creating money-making companies, platforms, and outlets that extend from their work. Ramdan has shown time and again how much craft matters, and that there's a real demand for it in a world that's become all too slick, efficient, and, in many respects, soulless. Across his agency's output, they advocate for making things by hand and without plastic, and outsourcing nothing. As if that's not enough, Ramdan also operates antique printers and a publishing operation, a bookstore, a typeface shop, and a podcast studio. With all that Ramdan does, there's a real sense of exploration and intentionality, which stems from his extraordinary path up to now. For a year in the 90s, he was homeless on the streets of Paris after fleeing the city of Toulouse, where he'd been mugged by a gang, a story we get into a bit on the episode. And in the 2+ decades since, he has risen to become one of the world's most sought-after culture-forward minds in luxury and branding. Before we get into the episode, I'd first like to thank our Season 9 presenting sponsor, L'École, School of Jewelry Arts, which is supported by the Maison Van Cleef and Arpels. With permanent campuses in Paris, Hong Kong, Shanghai, and Dubai, as well as various traveling schools, L'École focuses on 3 primary areas: savoir-faire, the history of jewelry, and gemstones. Classes on subjects ranging from art history to introductory jewelry making are taught by a group of 60-some teachers, art historians, gemologists, jewelers, and artisans, all of them experts in their fields. Among L'École's newest offerings is the podcast Voice of Jewels. Through a combination of narration and insights from art historians, jewelry experts, and L'École lecturers, each episode delves into the stories and secrets behind history's most fascinating jewels. From Rihanna's grills to a necklace that once belonged to Louis XV's favorite mistress, to the legendary Blue Diamond. Available in both English and French, Voice of Jewels is narrated by the award-winning actor Edoardo Ballerini. Season 1, titled Sentimental Jewels, and Season 2, titled The Blue Diamond's 1001 Lives, are now available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can learn more about L'École and Voice of Jewels at www.l'ecolevancleefarpels.com. That's www.LECOLEVANCLEEFARPELS.com. And now, here's my conversation with Ramdan. Hi, Ramdan. Welcome to Time Sensitive.
Yeah, cool. Hello.
I should begin by stating up front that the New York Times has written that Ramdan, quote, speaks so quickly that he can leave his listeners downright dizzy. We'll see if that happens today.
No, I don't think so. Maybe, who knows? Depends the subject.
So first question, and I feel like this is where an interview with you related to time should start, because your many projects are so detail-driven and also rigorously rooted in history. What's your approach to thinking about time and temporality when it comes to the work that you do?
I think time is the most important thing for everything. People forget that. When you hire someone, basically you buy time from someone. So how much you're going to sell me every hour of your life? That is something people forget. You buy time from the people. They sell time. When you buy something very expensive, the brands are trying to make sure that they spend a lot of time creating it. They crafted it. They took a lot of time to do it. Basically, we're living in a world where we trade time, but no one call it like that.
Well, let's talk about I think I'm pronouncing it right, Dreiberg.
Dreiberger.
Dreiberger, the hotel that you opened in Mürren, Switzerland. How did this project come about?
I have just a problem. I don't use my brain. It's creating problems after. Listen, I hate holidays. I love mountain. Donc, I always say to my wife, when we're going to have a little bit of money, I'm going to buy a place in the mountains, but I want to work there. The best thing was a hotel. And one day a friend of mine called me for this place in one of the most beautiful valleys, because for the last 25 years, I did valley by valley in all the Alps, almost all of them. And I discovered that the most beautiful is this one. After reading a book of this anarchist geographer called Élisée Reclus, who did La Commune in Paris, the Revolution, the biggest geographer of the late 19th century. And I read the book and he said, I didn't like the mountain until I went to this valley. And I remember reading this book. So, what is this valley? And I went there, and you have this free mountain, which means the Dreiberg. You have the Jungfrau, the Mönch, and the Eiger, which is the most beautiful mountains in the Alps. Of course, you have the Matterhorn, the Cervin in French. You have a few nice mountains, Monte Rosa. You have also in Italy a few beautiful ones. But this one together, there's nowhere in the Alps you can see the most beautiful like that. They're all more than 4,000, except the Eiger's 3,945 or something like that. Big mountains, always the snow in the front of you, magic view. People know very well Wengen, other city around, but Mürren, it's a little hidden gem in the top of the mountain. Donc you cannot access with the car, you have to take a gondola. I went there and I fell in love directly, and a guy said, there's this hotel for sale. And as I said, my brain doesn't work always. I said, okay, I buy it. I didn't check. It's very stupid because we found out after we had a lot of problem. But I took it and I said to my team, we're going to redesign it without breaking a wall, and we have 2 months to make it new. And changed the name. The name was, what was the name?
Bellevue.
Bellevue was a very dumb name, like the place where you put the old people, you know, this hospital. And one movie was shot in the 60s, 70s, early 70s, called The Sanction. And I bought it and I revamped it, and here we are.
And this place was first opened in 1907, and your revamp does manage to keep a bunch of the original details. How did you decide what to add and what to leave? How does that work in your mind?
It's not 1907. It's what we wrote. And we just found out it was 1894, actually.
Oh.
It's much older than expected. It had a name, which was beautiful. It was the Hotel of the Star at the beginning. We started when the name became Bellevue, but we found out it was earlier. The culture in America is very different. You like to redo. It's part of the capitalism system. You like to erase, remake, erase. In Europe, we love to keep. When you arrive, basically, automatically, with your eyes, you know what you're going to keep. I changed a few things. Like I changed the color, of course, all the furniture. I changed the beds. I changed all the bedrooms. They were terrible. It was like cow prints everywhere. Caricature of Switzerland. It was a family owned by this couple who were like from the canton of Uri, super deep Swiss people, very, 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 very racist. That I found out after. It was Swiss and it was cheap. You can have this old bed from 19th century and an IKEA thing next to it. So we erase. I'll have to redesign everything. And because we moved with my wife and the kids from house to house, I have a huge collection of furniture. I'm a big collector between Italian, 48, 1980, and I have from all the movement, Mangiarotti, Scarpa.
I read you have a lot of Dieter Rams.
Yeah, I have a whole collection. But I didn't put any details in this hotel, but I have GBL 4350 in the lobby. Look, I brought all that and I did actually my dream chalet. And one very funny story, at that time, a friend of mine was buying this bed sheets company called Beltrami in Italy. And I called him and said, I'm looking for bed sheets for my hotel. Do you know a guy? He said, yeah, you go there. I ended up buying a part of this company with him. They do the most beautiful bed sheets in the world, much better than Frete. In this little hotel, we have the bed sheets of the Ritz. That's how I do things. I told you, I don't think so much. I improvise. All my life is a huge improvisation. And it's going to be to the end. To the end.
I noticed that the Financial Times, when writing about the hotel's look and feel, turned your name into an adjective. To-whomified.
What? How I call it? I didn't even.
They took your last name and turned it into an adjective.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you one thing. I have a particularity as a designer. I work for a lot of brands, a lot of them. People don't know because I don't allow the brand to say I did it. I'm maybe one of the only designers on the planet who can sue a brand because they in the press said he did it. And it happens lately. We sue the brand. I will not say the name of the brand, but I don't want to do an advertising on them again. But this company called me and I twamified, like you said, the company. In 1 year, the company went from 45 million turnover to 90. They were so happy. When the press asked them what happened, they said, Ramdan did it. And I said, no, you're not allowed. This is your brand. This is not my brand. Me, I'm your doctor. I fix you. When your doctor fix you, or not in the street screaming the name of your doctor, he fixed me all day long. Man, I'm happy. You pay me for that. But I don't want to be the star of the thing. The star is the brand. It's not me. And also, I don't want my name to be hurt because maybe at the moment we did a good job. What they're going to do with the work I've done in the future, I don't know. I don't run the company. I don't want my name to be mixed up with things like that. And it's very strange. I know all my friends, they do a tiny thing in the brand and they put it on social media. I did that. And it's very interesting. We are the opposite. Voilà. Because I like to keep my name fresh. When I do Dryberg, the press are happy to talk about it. We didn't call them 20 times the same month, say, Ramdan did that, he did that, he did that, he did that. Your name is like something you have to use carefully.
What to you makes a truly great hotel?
A great hotel? Super simple and super complex. Let's use the word that a friend used called simplexity. It's very simple and complex in the same time. It's a combination of wows. I do that for all my business. You open the door, wow. You see from outside, wow. The car pick you up at the train station, wow. The guy how he dress up, wow. The music in the car, wow. The smell in the car, wow. Oh la la, my God. How polite he is, wow. You open the door, wow. Everything is wow. You arrive at the counter, how you do the check-in, wow. You see the lobby, wow. Oh, the music, wow. The coffee you drink, wow. You go to the room, wow. You sleep, wow. All day long, you're thinking about your bed. Wow, wow, wow. Okay? So wow, 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 wow. And you go back home, you took so many pictures, you advertise it for you. And you don't have to do PR. Your client will do it. Actually, you have to convert people. Like a religion. I mean, business is a religion. A religion is a cult who did well, that's it. And
it's actually funny you say that because I always talk about how the word company means com pane, like with bread.
Yeah.
It's literally based on religion and breaking bread and sitting at the table.
Totally that. I mean, a catalog is a fucking Bible. I mean, it's what I'm saying. The store is the church. It's very simple. They did the pattern. I'm sure many people tried religion 2,000-3,000 years ago, but few things like branding, they were not very well. It's branding from back in the days. The one who's remained is the one who are create a good atmosphere, a good book, a good catalog, good churches, mosque, temples, churches, cathedral. Cathedral is like, this is the big store. This is like the big one. We have the small one, the tiny one, the church, and we have the big one, cathedral, man. Like, bring the best designer.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. The dress, the uniform. I mean, Christianity killed it. I mean, nailed it. I mean, it's very simple to check it out. And the brand look at that. Oh, it's interesting. Maybe we do the same. Every religion, they want you to never forget them. Brands do the same thing right now. Hello, we exist. Hello. Social media, we exist.
How do you think about time when it comes to hotels? How do you use time in the hotel sense?
We are lucky we're in the mountains. We don't see our client a lot. They wake up, they have breakfast, they go to ski. They wake up, they go to hike, whatever. We don't see them a lot. We're not a beach hotel. Beach hotel is pretty complex. The guy goes to the beach. Sometimes they stay by the pool. You have to entertain them. We have to talk about the size of my hotel. It's 20 rooms. In 20 rooms, we created our own radio, for example, which is crazy for the size of the hotel. We created also our own channel of selection of mountain movies. Like really, you can spend 5 hours a day for a week just watching crazy movies about mountains and documentaries where we did a selection. We did a lot of things like that. And now when you're in mountain, we don't have a problem of, we have lunch, dinners. A hotel is like your house. You're just here to sleep and eat. That's it. People don't really spend time. Maybe you, because I see your house pretty comfortable, but but do people work like you, writing things and think, but the people who don't think and write things, they're at the office, they are somewhere else. They actually put all their money on the spot they really do nothing in. It's very, very serious. It's like, house is storage. For 90% of people, it's just a place you leave your stuff and you live outside. And you sleep.
You mentioned the only transport there is this cable car. There's an electric train, I guess, too.
Yeah.
But from a time perspective, that's pretty interesting, too. I feel like the journey being a part of the experience of getting there.
It's the most exotic place in Europe, from Paris, London, whatever. In 4 hours, you're in a different world. Tolkien wrote all his books there.
In this town?
Yeah, in Muren. Tolkien used to write books. All his childhood was there in the holidays. You're far from everywhere. The path for the hike is protected by UNESCO as the most wide part of the Alps. You're far from everywhere. Me, I wanted something very close to my house, like 3-4 hours, including train, and even 5 hours from Paris, and by car 6 hours. You're in a random place, like, wow. And I wanted that, this feeling of, I want people to take the gondola to see, really to go far from their normal life, normal habits. And you arrive in this bubble of our hotel where you can have a Mos Def music in this view on this mountain. It's very crazy. The music is very random. It's the thing I like. My iPhone is really my selection. You're in my world. We did the smell I like of the mountains. We did a lot of things. It's really my world. Don't try to do a hotel who doesn't look like you. It's not good because you're going to hate it. Do things you like. If you one day have a hotel, do your house. Because you're going to welcome people.
And I want to bring up, because as an outgrowth of this hotel, you're developing this line of outdoor clothing, like 700 pieces I read.
Yeah. My jacket, my pant, and my shoes right now are prototype.
Okay.
And the glasses as well.
Do you view it as beyond just being a place for people to come stay? It's sort of this ethos, a way of being, almost, if I can say this, a lifestyle?
Yeah. I don't like the word, but yes, we're doing Dreiberg Cafe now in Paris. And the magazine, Useless Fighter, on Mountain Magazine. And we're doing a lot of things around mountain. Mountain are my passion since I'm 8 years old.
Where do you think that comes from?
It may be DNA. I have no idea. I'm the only one in my family who has this passion, obsessive about mountain. I'm here in New York, and I'm going to Wyoming tomorrow night. because I need to go to see a mountain. And
I need to go to see a mountain.
Yeah, this is it. I have this. Yeah, it's like meeting friends. Oh, you! I never see you. Wow, I love you. You look great. I did the Fitzroy, Toubkal in Morocco, everything like Kilimanjaro. I went to Sikkim last year to see one mountain in Himalaya, but we had lychees attack. We had to stop in the middle. It was the lychees season. They came up, like they take all your blood. Like, oh, that was not good.
There's been a lot written about mountain time, this idea of mountain time.
Yeah, Thoreau wrote a lot about it, but also Élisée Reclus, that I'm a big fan of. It's called Histoire d'une montagne, Story of a Mountain. Histoire d'un ruisseau, it did also for a river. And
even in Carlo Rovelli's The Order of Time, he's this Italian physicist.
Yeah.
He writes about how time is different up in the mountains than it is by the sea.
True, and it's very strange. I don't like the sea because I get bored. In mountain, I'm never bored. I mean, the weather changes in 1 minute. The light changes non-stop. Mountain moves. It's very funny. Sometimes they're closer, sometimes they're further. And I call my magazine Useless Fighter. It's like when you go up in the mountain, super risky. You take risks, stupid, useless. And it's like a fight that is useless. You're just at the top. You're happy. Nothing else. But this happiness is very special. You feel you did something. You're breathing good air, water is good, the sun on your skin is amazing. It's very different, the sun on your skin when you're in the mountain. And I don't know, you feel closer to the sky. Oh, you feel much better, much better. If you stay 1 week more than 1,500 meters high, you have more oxygen in your blood. You come back, you have so much energy for the next 3 weeks. It heals a lot of things.
Hey everyone, taking a quick break here to tell you a little bit about our Season 9 presenting sponsor, L'École School of Jewelry Arts, which is supported by the Maison Van Cleef and Arpels. Since establishing its first 2 campuses in Paris and Hong Kong, L'École recently opened new campuses in Shanghai and Dubai as part of its aim to spread the knowledge of jewelry art and culture to as many people around the world as possible. Both campuses offer free exhibitions and will eventually provide classes and in-person lectures by art historians, gemologists, jewelers, and craftspeople. Housed in the Twin Villas on Middle Huaihai Road and spread over nearly 22,000 square feet, the Shanghai School is the largest school of jewelry arts in the world. You can learn more about L'École and its current and upcoming offerings at www.l'ecolevancleefarpels.com. That's www.LECOLEVANCLEEFARPELS.com. And now, back to the episode. I read that you've got something like 5 more hotels in the works.
3 right now.
Oh, 3.
Actually, I can have 20. Because since I did the Reiberg, the business model was so unique that everyone in the hotel business came. And every time they come, they say, do you want to do a hotel with me? Because they never seen that. I never did the benchmark in my life. Donc when I do a hotel, I do like from my own experience and from what I want. I never look at the business of other people. Bully, never watched, never did even for the smell of Cire Trudon, never checked what people do. I do what I want. And it's something if you work with me in my office, if you have just the idea of doing a benchmark, you're fired in a minute. And it happens a lot because the new generation, they arrive and say, okay, let's see what the other people say. No. We do from your brain, straight from your brain and from your own experience. So yes, right now I'm thinking about 2 other hotels, one in Udaipur. I saw the location and I'm going back mid-May, and one in Japan. Voilà. And in Japan, in the mountains, not
Hokkaido?
in Tokyo. No. There's many places next to Nagano. I mean, it's easy. You can buy a village, actually. Right now, with the yen is so low, you buy 20 little house, you do something unique, and you have fun. And you become the king of hotellerie. Now, right now, I want to go... Ramdan wants to do Amman. I just discovered that the hotel, you can say a lot of things in one place.
Yeah, it's Ramdan A to Z.
Yeah, Not A to Z, I think the A to T. There's a few things you cannot do in a hotel, but it's not bad. It's not bad.
You've also got these restaurant projects going. I read that you have one French izakaya restaurant in the works.
It's a very funny story of this restaurant. The restaurant was done, designed, staff hired, everything. And a week before we opened, I was working, it was 7:20, 7:30. I was walking up to my house. And I say, if this restaurant is open, it's going to be the moment where the people will call me to tell me, here are the reservation of today. No. And I say, I'm tired, it's 7:20. I don't want anyone to call me at that time. And I was walking up to Pigalle, where I live, and I called back the chef. And the chef was kind of not in good mood that day. A Japanese chef called Kobayashi. He's still working with me, but that day was not in good mood. And I just hung up and said, I don't like this project. And I have this freedom in my mind. And I told you I'm a little bit dumb. And I worked, I remember, and I called the guy and said, guys, I'm not doing it. He said, how do we do the stuff? I don't know. We can find another job, do other things. And I canceled everything. I didn't want to be bothered at that moment of the day. The hotel is already a lot of work, a lot of energy. And
It's interesting. What you're saying is that you're respecting your time. You don't want to have your time impeded by...
My friend, I have one life. I don't know if you have two, but me, I have one. I did everything well. I was homeless 25 years ago. Now I'm doing very well. I have the house and everything. And I just discovered that I don't need anything. Nothing. I don't need this hotel, even. I did it because I like it. Right now, this is a good experience. Sometimes I say, why do you stop companies like that? It's just I don't like it at that moment. And I have something magic. It's my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need money. I just need my brain.
Yeah,
and,
you've had this sort of serial entrepreneur streak. You make something, you finish it, you sell it, you move on.
Sometimes I close it down.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning and say, fuck it, I'm done. I'm super, super free in my mind and super anarchist.
Yeah.
I have sometimes deals people don't understand. Sometimes I insult banks and I put on speakers like this, all my staff listen it, and I insult bankers. Explain them how they're useless for this planet and for myself. I don't know. I'm kind of totally crazy, and I love it. And I always say to my wife, it's not what we're gonna do; it's how we're gonna do it. This is the most important. And right now, I like the hotel, and it's very annoying because I really like it, but sometimes it's hard. But this restaurant said, "Fuck it, I'm not going to." I don't want to deal with a lunatic chef. And I speak with Ignacio here in New York sometimes. I say, how do you do it? This is part of the game. I say, no, they don't like this game. Play it you. No, I don't want to do it.
Well, here we have to talk about Bouli, this cult grooming brand that you and your wife created in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of based on this lost, quote unquote, lost Parisian perfumer.
No, it was real. A brand. No, the brand was around.
Yeah, it was
real.
One
product.
Yeah, but you took that DNA and made it something totally new.
Yeah, based on one thing that was existing.
And it was so incredibly successful that you were able to sell it in 2021 to LVMH. So now that a decade has passed since you initially recreated this Bouli brand, what's your take on why it was so successful? Like, why did it catch on in this particular period of time?
I remember I was living in New York when we started this project. It was just the moment I sold Cire Trudon, my shares, my 40% shares at Cire Trudon was an experience that
the candle company that you
also revamped from A to Z.
When was that candle
2006.
company? That was 2006. But when was it originally from? It's like in
1643.
Yeah.
It was the
incredible.
The company was here. 1643. It was the supplier of the king. And you have to, people forget, but candles were the light. It was basically the light provider. It was a big company, whatever. It remains working, and they were doing only the church business. And when I arrived, I said, guys, let's do something. And we did Cire Trudon. Actually, the number one seller of this company is Abdelkader Candle, and it's the name of my father, which is very funny. And then when I was with this guy, didn't get along, whatever, sold my shares, did my thing. I had this project in 2002 with a friend to go to source all over the world all the beauty secrets. This girl was working at Estée Lauder. She didn't want to quit and stop this project. But I had that in mind. Why we go to Morocco, ask the grandmother what they were using before the soaps. Rasoul, like this kind of clays and oils, argan oil and other thing. That is the more known, but there's a lot of other things. And I start to ask that all over the country. I mean, the brown world, which means America, South America, not North America, South America, Africa, and Asia. And we went to India, we went all over. And I did this trip, and I start to... And we wrote a book with Victor about that, which actually here sold at Simon & Schuster. We did that, and we never did anything with it. And when I sold Cire Trudon, by myself, without Victor at the beginning, I said, I want to be able to show how good I am, and I want to do a project that I do A to Z. Packaging, bottle, label, smell, texture, everything. At the beginning was just a massive project to show all my skills to clients and to start an agency from that. And just one store to show how good we are. And people come to us, they use my brand, and they do things for others.
But it lit like wildfire, and you did 51 stores.
Yeah, actually more now, right now. I don't know. I will stop counting. I think we are more than 70, 75, with whatever. And I did this first store. The store went crazy. After we did the second one, and the second one, the first thing, I'm not going to replicate the first one. I have to do another one because I don't want to be bored, and I want to show the people I'm able to do another style. And at the end, I end up doing 65 or 66 different stores one by one.
Each is really about
totally
its
different
specific space and place. It's very much this hyper-local idea. Like, how do you take the what's ingrained in this structure, what's ingrained in this location?
Very important. I call it aesthetical deglobalization. I mean, the idea of taking an American brand, I take an example, Le Labo. Super industrial, made by French people, business school, coming from L'Oréal, do these shitty things, whatever. I'm sorry, it's a lost bullet. Not shitty, but different. Let's call it like that. Not my taste. And you do this very industrial New Yorker thing. Pretty well done. In New York. And you basically do the same industrial concept, New York, all over the world. No matter if the building is 18th century in Paris, 20th century in Tokyo, you don't care where you are. You sell this massive, this is what we have to say. I don't like it. I think when you go somewhere, you cannot destroy the whole thing. The first thing, I think when I do a design in Tokyo or somewhere else, what happens if we crash? I want people to be able to reuse my furniture. That's why I try to keep a local side of the work I'm doing in everywhere we go. The first 2-3 stores, the first one we did actually outside Paris was Taipei. In Taipei, I came and I did this very super French thing. In this Taiwanese building, I was, it doesn't work. The store did well, but I didn't like the experience. Maybe I went wrong. We did the second one. Korea. The first one was super Korean. I did something very Korean. I went there, I talked to the designer, what methodology used. Then we went to Japan and we did this half-half. This half-half, it's funny, there's a book here on the shelf of a guy who was supposed to do the Japanese half and me the French half. He sent a fucking, amazing, heavy invoice. So I don't have the money, man. We are tiny. Look, I had to design the Japanese part, and I liked it. And I did this both, and I did all the Japanese one, who became the success we know now. But we had fun. I'm still designing all the store. I just delivered 2 last month. And I still loved it. I mean, Bully is really my kingdom. I do whatever I want. It's funny. And Bernard Arnault and I get along on that. I believe he told me he likes the shop we are doing, he likes the work we are doing, and he really give me 100% freedom. This company respect really, when they like the designer, they give you the keys. They really do the thing.
And one of my favorite things about Bully is how you employ the Origata gift wrapping. You should explain it because
I can see your passion for Japan.
But this gift wrapping is like very special, and it goes back centuries. This tradition.
It's a family actually who does that for the emperor. It's the art of gifting. There's hundreds and hundreds different way of saying things through pleats and wrapping. Actually, this Origata history and also craft went to fashion. You can see it with Issey Miyake, did things with it. It's magic. It's part of the culture of Japan. And there's one family who does for 450 years the same wrapping only for the emperor. It was men's forever. And the last generation, it's a woman who does it. And she was touring to see some posh French, whatever, all over Europe, or so European people. And we had access to her. And I said, listen, we are working on that project. And I want to do the most beautiful gift. Can you help us? Who teach us how to wrap all this thing and show us a little bit of Origata? And she was okay. We hire her for a consulting thing at the beginning, and she helped us to. But that is one detail. But it's calligraphy. Calligraphy. People think, la la. You know why we had it? We had this calligraphy project idea or the beauty because I didn't have money to do a packaging for each product. And I say, we're going to do a label, write the product. If you see Bully, which is very funny, the brief is super complex. No plastic. There's no plastic except the lip balm. The whole brand, no plastic. The tubes, caps, everything is metallic or glass. Every product is on a box. And they say, okay, we're going to finish it by hand. We're going to write it. And I didn't like the writing of the first staff who did it. I said, okay, let's find a professor of calligraphy. And we bumped on one guy who was not doing very well. No one was going to his school of calligraphy. He was about to crash. And we said, do you want to work for us? And he said, yes. And this guy taught calligraphy to 400 or 500 people. And now every single staff at Bully know how to do calligraphy. Wow. We have a system to teach you in 3 months. And it works very well. Except 1 or 2 countries, and we withdraw from these countries. No one writes anymore with his hands. We write on our phone, on the computer. We don't use, and this idea of writing with hands will disappear within 1 generation. This is something I don't like to happen. I say, guys, let's push it to the side. I'll never do something without a political agenda. There's always something political with what I do. No plastic, it's for the nature, reusing the bottle, using the candle jar. You have to have a second life of the product. But calligraphy is also give this envie to the people to go back to writing with their hands.
Yeah. Well, and you're using the system of capitalism, to sell beauty goods, but for an end also to promote this craft and this art, this dyeing art, which is...
Also for the beauty secret.
Yeah.
The oils, the clays. I remember we had... What was the name? This bird shit, who was the best scrub in the 19th century, 18th century in Japan. And we went there, and the Treaty of Washington on the birds, this beauty thing was disappearing. We were the last in the world to have it. And we bought all the stock. The guy was super surprised. And we sold out in 5 minutes. And it's funny, you see things right now disappearing very quick because the whole perfume world is destroying everything. It's a dictator of perfume right now. Like your house has to have a smell, and all these beauty secrets were very efficient. If you use this oil or this oil, they are much more efficient than the beauty chemical things. They've been used by humans forever. They're all disappearing. Sometimes the farmer doesn't produce anymore this plant. And it's a very... in 10 years, I've seen plenty of them disappearing. And we were the last to buy it. Like black soap from Ivory Coast, made with clay from the soil. We have seen a lot of things disappearing. And we have seen things overused. Shea butter. Shea butter, like big boom, everyone is using it. Same for argan oil. They are destroying whole argan trees. This is one of the only trees in the world you cannot have a seed, put it, and it grows. No one knows how it grows. Still now. Now they're doing industrial. They don't even let the argan seeds to grow enough to be very efficient. Same for shea butter. Shea butter is like tomatoes. You have the very bad ones that you see in the supermarket, and the best one who are very enough sun and very tasteful, like in the south of Italy in August, in the summer. And we discovered the difference between the quality of the things. And really, we just pick the best. I mean, when we take tsubaki oil, camellia oil, we go to Goto Island. Goto Island is the best. For the Japanese, it's the peak of the peak of the peak, and we pick from the best of the best. Beauty was at the beginning one store, and it became a lifestyle because I started to travel all over the world. I go to island of Chios. I'm gonna buy sponges. People are like, wow, you're going? Yeah, it's my work. And I go there. I'm gonna find in the same village. I go for sponges, same place for sponges since the Roman time, and I discovered the gum of Chios. Gum of Chios is like the ancestor of the gum, like chewing gum, and it's very good for the gum of your mouth and everything. And I went for the sponges, and I bought also gum of Chios, and I did that all over the world. I go for something and I buy another thing and I buy more, and from the stones, from the clays. We used to go to Ukraine to buy the blue clay, and after we went before the war to Russia to buy another stone, and I went all over the world, and it became a crazy life.
It's like a game.
It was super amazing. Actually, it started with a store, and it became a lifestyle. It's what I'm doing with the hotel right now. Mm-hmm. It has to be my life. It doesn't have to be a business.
Yeah. You know, I wanted to add here too, you mentioned the magazine, Useless Fighters, but you do a lot with printing and publishing too. And are a typography obsessive. You've got this really impressive printing operation, which includes this factory in Switzerland.
No, we have France also.
You have France, but you also have this factory in Switzerland whose acronym is hilariously SHIT.
Yeah, the SHIT. Société Helvétique d'Impression Typographique. Yes, I changed the name to be more funny.
The printer in Paris is an antique printer. You're using 18th century techniques. Talk a little bit about that.
Even older.
Yeah.
It's an art. It's engraving, like it's the very Parisian technique. When you go to Paris, you want to do a business card. This is all these little shops who does all the business cards have only one supplier called Lejeune. And during the COVID, this guy was about to crash, and we bought him. He was the last guy remain who know how to do this technique, and we saved it. We sent 3 people, they learned it by heart with him for 3 years, and then we bought the company. It's still here. 100% of the fancy business cards in Paris are made by one company, my company. And we used it also for Bully at that time. So this is what we do, basically. And after we bought him, I didn't know I was going to put a hand on the biggest collection of monograms on the planet. I mean, we're talking about 15 or 16,000 monograms. Wow, as a font freak like me, wow, this is, bingo. But before we bought another company, was one of the oldest with some Heidelberg Red Bull machines from Switzerland. We merged these 2 companies. We are doing things. And I use it, but we have also, now we added a silkscreen studio with it. We are adding things.
And you're making magazines, you're making books. We
do magazines.
You have this bookstore. Tell me about that little publishing unit.
Alors, we have also a publishing company. We publish more political, super lefty magazine because this is my side. I'm more anarcho-social, but I'm super lefty. Also, with a guy called Emil Shahidi, we have the biggest collection of radical magazine from all over the world. I have the biggest collection maybe in the world, 22,000 publications. From the Black Panthers Party magazine, I have all of them, all like LGBTQ, whatever, all the number letter you want to add, we have all of them.
Where do you store all these?
In Paris. It's a foundation, it's called Radical Media. And we have all this radical media's publication from 1946-7 to 1980 also, and that we are buying every day. It's my money goes there. It's that or Ferrari. I bought things like that. We have a huge collection that we are right now digitalizing, and we're going to show to all the world. Last year, I had a very funny story. I wanted to buy this Tricontinental magazine. It was very political. From the headquarters was in Cuba, in closed. It was online for the last 20 years, but before it was a paper magazine. And Tricontinental is South America, Africa, and Asia, a magazine about brown people, very political. The archive disappeared when they stopped during COVID. And guess what? We found them in a Trump supporter garage next to Fort Lauderdale in Florida. And when we found out, I took a plane and I bought the whole archives. And we moved them to Paris because...
I just love this image of you getting on a plane and flying to Fort Lauderdale.
Yes, and meeting this guy and say, are you lefty? Why did you buy it? No, this guy hates Cuba, but he buy all these vintage things from Cuba to try to sell them in America. Like a crook and whatever. I mean, the worst guy on the earth, but super happy. We had original drawings of Lumumba and things like I was super happy, like... Super expensive. He gave the price. I was shocked, but say, well, let's pay for it because it's history. And we bought all the things. It's an adventure. My life is very...
Yeah,
I told you I don't think so much.
Have you ever watched the TV show How To with John Wilson?
No.
It's on HBO. Anyway.
Yeah, How To, I remember.
Yeah,
I never watched it. I know the name.
In it, though, he basically goes down these different wormholes. I feel like your life is kind of like that. Like you discover something that you're obsessed with, and then you follow that obsession into the next one and into the next one.
Exactly, and I learn a lot. At the end is what is left in my brain.
And you find yourself in Fort Lauderdale buying these Cuban magazines from a Trump supporter.
Yeah, we did a beautiful video introducing all this project. And I'm super excited because this thing brings me to another idea. So why we don't digitalize all the best magazines in the world and do a kind of Netflix of the best magazine? And we've been working on that, and it's going to happen because I saw it's out in 6 months. We developed it already. We did a company in Switzerland. It's happening.
Hey everyone, taking another quick break here to tell you about our weekly newsletter, where I share a behind-the-scenes look into each time-sensitive episode and also get into various things in the cultural sphere I'm paying attention to. You can sign up and join our 11,000 other subscribers by going to slowdown.media/newsletter. That's slowdown.media/newsletter. And now, back to the episode. It's so incredible. I mean, you also have this podcast studio. I mean, you do so many things.
I have 17 companies right now.
I feel like we could just keep going. But I do want to have the opportunity to talk a little bit about your upbringing because it's so fascinating. You grew up in this Moroccan-French family in southwestern France.
Yes, next to
in
Spain.
The countryside.
Next to the Pyrenees. Let's talk about the mountains.
The son of an apple picker. And I also read that you're the grandson of a Moroccan hero, so I have to hear that story.
Moroccan hero, if you ask him, he died, sadly. He's my grandfather. First, I have a great-grandfather who has also a crazy life. Grew up in the north of Morocco, and it was a French colony, and they picked him up when he was 17. They say, man, you're going to do the First World War. Donc he arrived in 17 or 18, he arrived in France, he fight for the French. In 1917, he has a bullet in his leg. He stay in France in the hospital. And actually, he's going to work in the mine in the north of France. So he's going to work in mining, stay in France. We are like 100 years ago in France, and he stays. Everyone left, he stays. And then, after a few years, he decided to go back to Morocco. And he stayed there. It's 1934, 35. And at that time, Franco was building his army to attack Spain for the counter-revolution and become the fascist country that Spain was going to be until 1975. And he built his army with North Moroccan, people from north of Morocco. Don't forget, in 1926, Spain also destroyed all my villages in the north because we tried to fight against the colonialism. Whatever, he picked my grandfather, joined the army. My grandfather was saying he was doing two things, mining and wars. Then he's going to fight for Franco and go to Spain. And then 1937, 38, go back to the village, nothing to do. 1944, join the French army, does Monte Cassi, Italia, go back to save France again. And this is his life, basically, like a crazy guy. And he fought all his life. I mean, crazy. I mean, when I think about it. And you have his son who worked for the French, and my village is at the border of between Algeria and Morocco. We are Moroccan side. And the story is very funny. The French said, okay, you have to look at the border. Be careful, some felaga from Algeria can pass the border. And he had a shotgun, and he was just at the border. And there's one guy from the French army who was going to all the village. He was showing French torturing Arabs. And he said, guys, if you want to go against France, this is what's going to happen to you guys. And he was showing this video in all the village. He was a colonel or a captain, I forgot. And this guy was number one target for all the felagas, the people who were fighting France. And they had a curfew, and my grandfather was at the border, and he see a guy on a bicycle, and he said, first, stop, it's curfew. First, second, third, warning. My grandfather take the shotgun, shot. Guess who he shot? This captain who was showing the videos, killed him. And the French came to him and said, man, we told you to shoot felagas, not the French. He said, it's dark, I didn't see. I shot the guy on the bicycle, it's a curfew. He said, yeah, but you have to kill only Arabs. He said, I'm an Arab, I'm not going. Whatever, they put him in jail. Very strange, funny thing, I don't know how, he had the keys of the stock of the weapon in his pocket. In the middle of the night, he didn't know, but my grandfather became a hero because he killed the guy who was number one on the list. And in the middle of the night, they went to this jail and they saved him. And he said, hey, guys, have the keys of the stock of the guns. And they took all the guns and they hide him in the mountains. Whatever. He had one thing. He became a hero by accident, actually.
I mean, what an origin story, right? That you're here because of them. And
well, after the war, the first thing he did, he went to France. Whatever. But it's a very funny story. And I'm the grandson.
And you yourself have this incredible story of you're 18, you drop out of boarding school, move to Toulouse, but then you're kidnapped and tortured.
Oh no, that was because I had a lot of cash.
Yeah.
But
still, you created this brand that led to you having a lot of cash, and for whatever reason, this gang kidnaps and tortures you?
Yeah, because I carried a lot of cash in bags, they found out, whatever. That is the street problems. It happens when you grow up in the poor areas and whatever.
Your money's stolen. You flee to Paris, where you're homeless for about a year.
In the metro, yes.
Stabbed by a vagrant.
Yeah,
I mean, this story sounds like it's out of a novel. It's.
I mean, shit happens. But I always had this enthusiasm to rebound, and this is my thing. Like. No is not an answer for me. And actually, I like no's. People, they're looking all their life for yes. Me, I like no's. And actually, my motivation comes from every door was closed. We are the black of France. Like, France hate Arabs. That's why I don't thank France for what I did. What they did to me. When I do, they say, oh, you can thank France. No, I don't. And I became what I became because they said no. I was looking for a job. You forgot to say, but I'm an accounting guy originally. This is what I graduated.
Numbers.
And when I went to find a job, they said, no, we don't hire Arabs in your offices. I decided to do another thing. And every time it was a no, I had to do my own. I didn't have client from agency. I did Bully. Billy was bigger than the client after. Yeah. But I said because people didn't want to give me good, they were giving me a small project, but who was tiny ones compared to my friends. I love no's. People are sometimes depressed when someone says no. And I fought hard to be able to say no myself. That's why I love no's. Now I'm very happy to say no. Now I saw 2 clients yesterday. It's going to be no.
I'm glad you said yes to the podcast.
I said yes to the podcast because you asked nicely and you start this podcast with a guy I like a lot. And I say, okay, let's do it. And I remember him asking me to do this podcast 2-3 years ago. I say, yeah, if I have time, I do it. And I keep my word. If I said yes, I never come back on that. Voilà.
And you mentioned France, but I would say Switzerland and Japan seem to have this grip on you, even though your roots are in France and you've done so much in Paris. And this is maybe both culturally and temporally. Like, why Switzerland and Japan?
They are the same country. 70% mountain, both of them. 30% of flat. First country in the world with the train on time, Japan. Second, Switzerland. Oldest people in the world, Japan.
Watches.
Number 2, Switzerland. There's a lot of numbers that are exactly the same between Japan and Switzerland.
Why do you think that is?
I have no idea, man. It's just thing. And I think I like them because 70% is mountains. And I like mountain people, I don't know. Japan, they came to me first. They discovered my talent before the others. A guy called Riku Suzuki came to me. I was living in my office. He saw a store I did. They said, do you want to do the same in Japan? I said, yes. They are more curious, and Swiss are not curious, but the Japanese are. I learned a lot in Japan. I came with my big arrogance. I was 25, 24. I thought I knew everything. I learned everything there. I came, and I learned a lot of things. And actually, I was shocked. I remember the day I saw Bathing Ape store in 98. I was depressed for 1 month. The only time in my life I say, fuck, I'm really bad. And I said so to Nigo, actually. I learned a lot.
And you lived there with your family in 2016, right?
Yeah. Nihongo shaberu, I speak Japanese and everything. I'm curious about this world. And it's funny, I'm not a huge fan of Japanese cuisine. I like it, but I'm not obsessed. I like much more flavor things. I like spicy things. But yeah, I love Japan. And I hate it after 1 month. When I stay there, I have a house in Nakameguro. And after a month, I want to leave because I'm tired of them. It's very strange. I have a very complex feelings with them. It's too perfect. It's like Copenhagen. I hate Copenhagen. I mean, all these people, good health on bicycle, all good looking. Really, I love Napoli. I like the mess. I like the smells. I like people stabbing people. I like pickpockets. Sometimes it's too clean. I'm tired.
All right, final question. What do you do to slow down?
I don't slow down. Why do you want me to slow down? I mean,
you don't go on hikes. You don't.
Yeah, this is my slowdown is hikes, but you don't really slow down when you hike, really. What I like with hikes, it's I focus on every step. It's very funny because you remember almost where you put your feet. So if you do 30,000 steps in 1 day in hiking in a mountain, trust me, your brain was focused on each of them. Walk in the street right now, after 2 seconds, you don't look. It's automatic. Your brain knows how to do it. In the hikes, you're focused. And I love that. The fact that you did 30,000 little things and you had to focus on all of them. That is, you telling me it's slowing down? Nah. It's a different part of your brain that you're using. And I like to use this part sometimes. I don't like to slow down. And I will never slow down. I don't know. It's not my thing. After 2 hours, say, wow, I'm wasting my time here. What did you do? I can panic. And honestly speaking, I love my life and I really like my life. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, in this mansion, I have a pool in my house, man. It makes me laugh still now. I wake up and I go to this fancy bathroom that did the cover of T magazine. And I look at me on the mirror. I say, man, is it real? Really real? How did you do that? And it's really that. You did it. My wife, it's normal for her. She's bourgeois. She grew up in a fancy thing. She knows. She has a castle.
Yeah, but you were homeless 25 years ago.
Yeah, but for me, every step, it's funny. Like right now, this afternoon, I'm hesitating between going to this meeting and go to see this Bentley S3 1956 is for sale in Queens. Like I have to look. And And this morning was really the big hesitation. Look, really, my life is very funny. And I might buy it because I'm collecting these stupid things sometimes. I have a passion for Bentleys. I don't know. Bentleys. I don't know. And I don't drive them. I just pile them one by one. And this one is missing a backward finishing, and I like it. I had such a stupid and bad childhood that right now I'm thirsty. I'm still angry. I'm thirsty of life. Like, it's just the beginning. I've been to very few countries I didn't go on this planet. Sometimes I say, like right now, I went to Benin, Senegal. This one, Ghana. This one is missing. It just looks the same, actually, sometimes. They look the same.
Easter Island, Galapagos.
No. They are touristic thing. There's no trees. It's like a rock. I'm not going to a rock. I mean, you have to be crazy to go.
Where's the next place you've never been that you want to go?
This summer, I'm doing this crazy trip. Normally, I'm going from Paris to Tokyo by car because I'm turning 50. And I said, it's on my list, and I didn't do it. I'm driving, and I'm not doing the North Road. I'm doing the South Silk Road, Georgia, Kazakhstan. Go to Russia, end up in Vladivostok, take a ferry to Korea, then to go to Niigata and arrive in Tokyo by car. But I did all Mediterranean in 2004 with a Lotus 7. I like to drive. And as I said to my kids, going every year to the same place for holidays, it's kind of dumb. It's very bourgeois. It's how I consider you're becoming a bourgeois. Every summer to this Greek thing, whatever, to Marseille. I don't like it. My idea is we go to a place we've never been.
Probably in the mountains.
90% of the time there's mountains. Yes. Not 90 actually. 100%. It has to have mountains. We went to Oman the other day with the kids and they were so pissed because they were by the beach and said, guys, let's go to the mountains. And they hated it. But they loved it after. But at the moment they hated it.
Ramdan, thank you.
My pleasure. Okay, thank you.
Extra thanks to our Season 9 presenting sponsor, L'École School of Jewelry Arts, which is supported by the Maison Van Cleef and Arpels. A unique place for learning, L'École welcomes the general public to the world of jewelry through courses, talks, exhibitions, videos, books, and now, its Voice of Jewels podcast. You can find out more about L'École at www.l'ecolevancleefarpels.com. That's www.LECOLEVANCLEEFARPELS.com. And thank you for listening. You can find more episodes of Time Sensitive on our website, timesensitive.fm, or wherever you listen to podcasts. To keep up with our latest time-sensitive episodes and get behind-the-scenes updates, sign up for our newsletter at slowdown.media/newsletter. That's slowdown.media/newsletter. You can follow us on Instagram at slowdown.media. Our theme music was composed by Billy Martin. This episode was produced by Ramon Broza, Emily Jang, Mimi Hannon, Emily McDonald, and Johnny Simon.